Now, whenever we simplify any sort of rational expression, first off, like we've said, you still want to put down what can x or a or b or q or whatever variables you have, what can they not be? Okay, so if they can't be something, then you need to state that before you even start. Because like we just said, that if you have a restriction, that restriction is going to stay at the beginning and the end. You can only add values to your restrictions, you can't get rid of them. Okay, because once they start, then they will still be there at the end. Essentially, all you're doing here whenever you simplify, or really even whenever you multiply or divide, is you're going to factor everything out first, and then you're going to see what matches on the top side versus the bottom side. So if it says to simplify x squared minus 4x minus 12, then all I'm going to do is I'm going to factor the top and I'm going to factor the bottom. So if I factor the top, if I have x squared minus 4x minus 12, what are my two binomials? And the good thing is, all of these will factor. So what's going to go on the top side? What's going to go, how can I factor x squared minus 4x minus 12? Two numbers that multiply together to give me a negative 12 that combine to give me a negative 4, 6 and 2, right? The 6 needs to be negative, so x minus 6 and x plus 2. What is the bottom side going to, how is x squared minus 4 going to factor? X plus 2 and x minus 2. Now, before you get into like, oh, I'm going to start getting rid of things. No, you've got to stop, you've got to wait, you've got to slow down a little bit. Before you start playing whack-a-mole with these things that match, you've got to first figure out, and what I would do is usually just put it right below it, that, hey, x can't be equal to what? What can x not be equal to because of these two values? Plus or minus 2, right? If you want to write it as plus or minus 2, if it's the same number, that's fine. Okay? What will happen is you will come back to this restriction. Now you can essentially start playing whack-a-mole or Mr. Slice and Dice, whatever you want to call it, to get rid of things. Because if I have something in a parenthesis on top and I have the same thing on the bottom, then that means that I can get rid of it. Do I have anything that matches in the numerator spot and the denominator spot? X plus 2. So, boom, boom. Anything else that can cancel? Nope. So then my final answer is just going to be x minus 6 over x minus 2. And then I need to put my restriction, x cannot be equal to plus or minus 2. That's my final answer. Now, with anything multiplying or simplifying, I'm not going to pick up any more restrictions, or I shouldn't. If I do, then I probably did something wrong. The only time I will probably pick up another restriction to add on to what I already found out earlier is whenever we divide tomorrow. Okay? But before we, like with any simplifying or any multiplication, there should not be any sort of restriction. If you didn't have a restriction at the beginning, you shouldn't have anything added to it at the end. Does that make sense?